Hello, everybody. Good evening. Welcome to our podcast, Coffee with Your Friends. It's always a pleasure to be here hosting this podcast, and it's been my pleasure always to have you connect with us. Thank you very much for getting connected. This evening, we have a special guest, a really good friend of mine. Suzana Lordelo. She'll be here sharing her experience of life, and I'm sure you're gonna have a good conversation. And I'm sure also you'll be blessed having taking part of this conversation. Initially, I want to not just welcome you, but encourage you to get involved with us, interacting with us with the comments, but also with the questions. So feel free to make comments, ask any question to Suzanne. But just before we bring her up here, I wanted to bring Laura to talk about our channels, how you can subscribe in our channels, and how you can follow us up. Come up, Laura, please.
Hi guys, good evening
Hello,
everyone.
how are you, Laura?
I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, I'm fine. How is Curitiba?
It's great, thank God. It's a little
It's
hotter.
beautiful city. Yeah, very good. So,
So,
Laura, how people can follow us in our YouTube channel, please?
under the live stream, we have the button subscribe. So you can click on it and hit the bell so you don't miss any live, any podcast. We have also an Instagram. It's podcast coffee with friends. And sorry, podcast CWF. We also have our Telegram channel, which has messages, and it also has the link for the live. It's a great place to know about the guests, know in how much time we're gonna be live. So I really recommend you to be a part of the channel. And we also have our Facebook page, and both the link to the channel, the Telegram channel, and the Facebook are on the description below. So you can click on them and check out.
Ah, lovely. So, if people miss this conversation or this podcast, or it can be watching in different time.
Yeah, this live will be saved on the channel, and also all of the other lives. This is the episode 12, and all of the other episodes are also on our channel, so you can go there and you can check the other episodes. There are lots of guests and lots of great testimonies, so there's you can go there and watch the other ones.
Lovely. Thank you very much, Laura. Also, how people can help us to spread the news that there is a podcast, Coffee with a Friend in English, having Brazilians or people from everywhere.
Yeah, you can use your social media, whether it is WhatsApp or Instagram or any other social media. You can help us sharing the link or telling people about the podcast, tagging us on Instagram so we can repost it. And also, you can help us here in the comments as well, making questions and helping us to have a even better live and having a more dynamic live as well.
Yes, lovely. So, guys, you are connect with us now. Please help us to spread the news, like Laura say, share with your friends uh, this channel. This is a project we want to see growing and more people getting involved with and being blessed by what you've been doing here. Is that correct, Laura?
It is.
Yes.
And
Laura, thank you.
also,
Yeah, carry on, please.
a very good way on about helping us is for you to send the link right now for someone to someone you remember, I don't know, someone that popped up in your head, that would enjoy this live. So send them the link so they can join us too.
Lovely. Very good. Laura, thank you very much for your help. Okay? God bless you. Uh, I think, yeah, guys. So, like I said, I want to bring in Suzana to talk to us. Come up, Suzana, please.
Wow, that
Hello.
was like magic.
So, how long we know each other, Suzanne?
I don't know. I think I was in the uterus. I was a baby,
You're
I think, when I met you.
when your parents moved to São Paulo, you were a baby.
Yeah, I was
Not
one.
baby, 2, 3 years, something. Yeah.
No, I was one.
1 year old.
Yeah, I
Oh,
was a baby.
man. Now you became a lady, got married, have a daughter.
Let's
Can
hope so.
you, Susanna, just introduce yourself to us, please?
Um, in general terms, my name is Suzana Lordelo. I am 28 years old. I always have to count in my head how old I am. 28. I live in São Paulo at the moment. I've moved around a bit in my life. So I was born in Vitória, then I moved to São Paulo, then I moved to Atlanta, then I moved to Vitória, then I moved back to São Paulo. I think the next step is moving to Atlanta and just completing the cycle and then starting over again. I work with the English language in all its dimensions, basically. I've been translating and teaching and revising and consulting for about 10 years now. I
Oh,
have the most beautiful daughter in the world. She is certified the most beautiful in the world.
really? How old is she?
And she is 3.
Ooh,
She's 3, which is a great age because she talks a lot and has funny things to say. And I am married, have a husband. His name is Pedro. He is currently holding my child so that I can participate in this podcast. And that's it, I guess.
yeah. Let me tell you something about his name, Pedro. My dad was also Pedro. When I
Oh,
born, my mom wants to name me as Pedro. My dad said on that time, no, I don't like my name. Let's choose a different name. So it's my frustration is not being called Pedro. I would love to be called Pedro.
what? You are a Hamon.
Yeah, Ramon is
No,
okay. Ramon is okay,
no.
but Pedro, because of my dad, will be an inheritance for me. His
Oh,
name,
okay.
I will carry on his name.
But if you think
Maybe
about
God's
it,
gonna
he
give you,
refused the name. So it's an inheritance in the same way.
maybe God's gonna give me a grandson. In some point, I will name him Pedro, Peter, Peter. Yeah, Pedro. Okay, Suzanne, you okay. You thank you very much for introduce yourself, but you did this so quick. So let's go
Sorry.
uh, um, by steps, if you like.
Okay.
Okay, so why you moved to Atlanta, US? Tell
I
us. It
had
will
no
be a positive
choice.
experience.
I had no choice. I was 6.
Yeah.
My parents are gypsies, basically. They move constantly all the time. I've never ever lived 2 years in a house in my life. So we just moved a lot, and my dad decided he wanted to live in Atlanta. My parents thought that it would be good for us to study abroad, as children for a while. And we went to stay, I think, 1 year, and it turned into 8. That was it.
Yeah, yeah. So I remember when I visited you over there, I could see something interesting. things you used to do, like everything you eat, you used to take notes, and also you love reading books. Am I right? Why that? In
Yes.
your child mind, why you used to do that? Just as curiosity.
I was a very weird child, basically. Language was always my thing, I guess. And so when you went, I was already 8, so I knew how to write. And I was very dedicated to writing
Yeah.
absolutely everything all the time because I read the Queen Victoria biography and that she kept a record of everything she did. And I loved her. So I wanted to keep a record of everything like Queen Victoria.
Oh,
Yeah.
interesting. You keep this book? You
I
kept this book or not?
I wrote every
Journal,
day.
journal. Yeah.
Yeah, my journals. I wrote every day from about age 7 to 18, 19. And it was a very big box of books. And so it got kind of unsustainable at that point.
Oh, I see. Suzana, there are some people connect with this live now. I just want to encourage them maybe to say where they are watching us from. So you watching us now, just tell us where are you from, where you live, your city, your area, okay? And also I want to encourage you to interact with us, make some comments, and also any question for Suzana. I'm sure she'll be happy to answer your question. Okay, Suzanne,
Always.
I wanted to know really. So how? Of course, you. I know you're born in a Christian family, and
Hmm.
can you just tell us about your personal experience of life and what
Hmm.
happened when you actually not just I know your parents' faith helped you a lot, but
Hmm.
it's more about yourself. You have
Hmm.
your own experience. Can you just share with
Yeah.
us, please?
Well, Chu Hamon, more than anyone, can say that ever since I was a little kid, I was very interested in what was being said in church. My mom said that I was the most annoying church member because I would interrupt him with questions, and he would very patiently stop what he was saying to answer me. And so I was always very um, encouraged by my parents because they were Christian and they, preached to me and taught me about the Bible and Jesus. And so I got baptized. It's hard for me to pinpoint, and I'm going to tell you guys the story because I got baptized very early. I was 8 at the time, and I was 100% sure of what I was doing when I was 8. But I developed a faith that was kind of, it was very, do you know when Jesus is talking about the different kinds of prayers and he talks about the Pharisee and the, I think, publican in English?
Yeah, yeah.
And he talks about the Pharisee praying like, "Oh God, thank you because I'm not like these people. I'm different. I tithe." And during my childhood and my adolescence, I sort of developed a faith that was kind of like that. And I think I distinctly remember praying kind of like that too. And so, although I was very connected to my faith and very firm in what I believed, it wasn't the healthiest of perspectives. And so I grew up, all my parents were Christians, but my parents had a turbulent home life, very turbulent marriage, and there were lots of separations and lots of problems. involved. And I remember that I would question why I was put through what I was put through. And I would question if there was a God, and he was so good, and I was so devoted, and I was so good at doing everything correctly, then why am I subjected to this circumstance? And I think anyone knows that, a home life can affect a child and a teenager very profoundly. And so things got worse during my late adolescent years. So when I was like 16, 17. And I remember that I would go to people from church and I would tell them what was happening and how hard it was. And people would just quote Romans 8:28. And they say, oh, don't worry, because all things come together for the good of those who love the Lord. And I developed a very deep hatred for that verse because I thought, this does not apply to me. Clearly, look at what I'm going through.
Mm-hmm.
And it took a very personal experience with like the Bible to really understand that a few things. First of all, that I was just as terrible as every other human being out there. And that, being a goody two-shoes and staying in my room and reading my books didn't make me better than anybody else.
Mm-hmm.
So there was that. Adolescence took care of that. And then I had to really understand the purpose of my life and the purpose of the things that I went through. And when I was about, I don't know, I think it was like 19, 20, I was reading 2 Corinthians 1. And Paul says that blessed be our God, the Father of all consolation, and that we are able to console those through the consolation that we receive in the Spirit. And I finally understood Romans 8:28, because Romans 8:28 talks about the good of those who love the Lord. This is a plural word, those. And 2 Corinthians, when he talks about suffering and consolation, he's pointing to a plural situation. You're consoled, so you can console. You're equipped, and therefore you
Mm-hmm.
can empathize with others. And I understood that I had always seen my life on an individual basis, where my life served for me. So why was I unhappy? Why was I going through problems? But God's purpose is plural, and it's corporate. And my life was made the exact way that it was because I needed to be equipped to console other people who would go through difficult things I have been through. And then that was really just what closed it for me, of understanding the purpose of my trajectory. And it's kind of been my north ever since. And everything that's difficult that happens, I remember this, just like Mordecai tells Esther, this is the time for which you have been created.
Wow.
So,
Amazing. Very good. So, Suzana, we have some, let's see here, some people who are connected with us. We have here Sofia from São Paulo.
the best city.
And you have Caleb from Rolleclaw,
Can't even pronounce that.
Poland. Then you have here Laura from Curitiba.
Very
Then we
cold.
have Milena from Salvador.
I love Salvador so much.
And then we have here Raquel Araújo from Salvador. Oh, we have someone special here, Suzanne. You know this lady?
Ai, Tchau, I love you. You're wonderful.
This is very special person. It's my
She
wife,
is.
Elbetisa, from Barnesville, Devon.
She's the best.
We have here Renato from Fortaleza. Wow.
Never been, want to go.
Yeah. Uh, I have I have a question here for you already from Renato.
Oh, how many languages do I speak? That's a fun question, Renato. I speak English. I speak fluently. I speak English and Portuguese. I speak a medium to advanced amount of Spanish, and I study Turkish and French.
Very good. Uh, Another question from Amanda. What's
What
your
is your
advice for
advice?
those who are going through a bad situations?
Oh, that's a tough one. Advice for those going through tough situations. There is no one size fits all solution for anybody going through bad situations. I feel like that is one thing that I learned in the flesh. And but the advice that I would give is to seek peace, peace that exceeds all understanding. Because bad situations, the worst thing that they can do is when they are inside of us. But there is a way in which we can be in a bad situation and not internalize it.
Hmm, lovely. Thank you very much. Really good. We have here Murilo with us. Uh, Let me see. Douglas Faioli. You know Douglas? He used to live here in England. He lives in São
Oh,
Paulo. Maybe you never met him.
I don't
Yeah.
think so.
So it's a lobby to
Nice
have.
last name, though.
Albertis just say she loves you too.
I love her.
Okay. Suzanne, how you? I know God. I know learning language. Yeah,
Mhm.
is actually opportunity. I'm sure, but also how is important as you you're not teaching at the moment. So explain to us: are you teaching English? You still teaching Portuguese to someone? Just what are you doing for a living now at the moment?
Okay,
Before
so
before
I
I ask you a question, sorry, I just yeah
you kind of did.
yeah.
Um, Today I work as the head of an English department in an ed tech, which is, one of a technology company focused on education. And we're a multi-language platform. We have Spanish, we have French, we have Portuguese for foreigners, we have English, and I'm responsible for supervising the material production of the English department, for coordinating the teachers, for, handling the department as a whole.
Oh,
And I work with um, Portuguese for foreigners, but just for one foreigner. And I have my book clubs, which are conversation clubs for people who are like advanced and they speak English and they want to practice. So we read and converse about reading.
very good. So, can you now my question to you? Can you can you tell us how important for people? What I'm trying to say is, sometimes learning a language, a foreign language, is an opportunity. You had your own opportunity because you were 6 year olds. Your parents
Mhm.
moved to US, and then I had my own opportunity as well when this
Mhm.
job was offered me to move to England and help me to learn English. So, how is important for people being open, even they didn't have any opportunity to move to a different country, but make effort on learning a second language or a third language. I don't know. It depends on each people. But my question is, what is important for maybe everyone trying to learn a second language, especially English?
Yeah, I think, of course, when people ask me, how I learned English, it seems like, oh, it was so easy for you, and you were just a kid, you didn't really have to make an effort. But I think it gave me a privileged view of how language can work as a bridge or a barrier, depending on if you have it or you don't. And so there are within the immigrant community in the United States, you have people who have been there for, 10, 15, 20 years and who don't speak English. And in a way, they're there, but they're not really there because they're not in. Whereas if you can speak another language, you can have access to different cultures and to different worldviews, even without being necessarily inserted into it. And I think that nowadays we have the internet, which is such a huge universe that is mostly in English. Most academic productions are in English, most cultural production that is viewed is in English, music and theater and series and everything.
Yeah.
And so I think that it is something that can connect you to other people and to other knowledge and to other just culture, or it can serve as something that will block you from accessing all of that. And so I think that that's the main importance of learning a second language, especially English.
Yes, this was all my experience when I learned English, and I could see a kind of new words open for me, especially in my job, theology, religious books helping me a lot. So I have a question here from Laura. Do you think having constant Bible reading is important to understand the whole Bible and to be closer to Jesus?
Yes. I mean, like Chu Hamon said, I was always very bookish. So I actually have to be very careful that I don't is my God, in a sense of I have to remember that it's like a living divinity and not just the book, and that all I need is the book and that's enough. So, but I think that all significant experience that I have had in my life in terms of Christianity was mediated by the Bible. And so I have read the whole of it a few times. There are books I don't like. I mean, no one can convince me to like Numbers, but it's there, so I read it.
Very
Don't
good.
enjoy it, but I read
Yeah.
it.
Thank you very much. I have a, as you were talk about the language, um, Milena is asking this question: which tip would you give us to improve our skills in learning English?
I think that one of the things that is most amazing about living in the internet age is the access that you have to content in English. And your contact with the English language is going to be the most important. So everything that you can do to have contact with the language will benefit you. And sometimes it will be a little bit harder than you can understand, but it's still valuable learning experience. And so listening to podcasts, to videos, like find a specific type of material that works for you. And then you'll do it with pleasure and it'll be an enjoying like experience to be able to have contact with the English language. If you don't like grammar, like there's no point in sitting down with a grammar book and like forcing yourself when you can maybe listen to a podcast to someone explaining grammar in a way that you'll enjoy a lot more.
Yeah. Lovely. Thank you very much. We have a question here from Caleb.
How do I reconcile working in a full-time corporate job and being a mom, a wife, and a housewife? I don't sleep. I'm just kidding. I have a very strict order of priorities. So when I took on this job, I was very clear to them that there was a period of my day that was dedicated exclusively to my daughter, and it was non-negotiable. And
Mm,
if the job were to interfere in that, then I would not take it. And so I work with a company that is always very flexible in terms of anything that has to do with my daughter, with my family. And then I'm very structured with the housewife thing. So I plan all my meals a week in advance. I do all the shopping with everything planned. I clean according to a schedule. I'm very, very anal about these things. I clean according to a schedule so that I don't have to clean. I'm going to be honest, I'm not like the most neurotic when it comes to cleaning. Like if it's sufficiently clean, it's fine.
yeah.
And that's basically it. I'm very organized. And I know that what is urgent isn't always what's most important. Sometimes my job has urgencies, but my daughter is more important.
Mhm, mhm. Very good. It's not easy, isn't it? It's not
No,
easy. Um,
it's not.
can I wanted to bring Amanda up here with me. Come up, Amanda, to be part of this conversation.
Hi, Amanda.
Um,
Hi
yeah.
guys.
Hi.
Hello, Amanda. Good to have you here with us. So I have one more question here from Renato, and then I'm going to give you, Amanda, opportunity to ask any question, make any comments with Suzana, just to interact with her. So, have you had the experience talking to other people around the world about Jesus?
So Renato, like I said, I've worked with the English language in all its capacities, and one of them is being an interpreter. So I translate for preachers and missionaries and pastors and all sorts of missional occupations. In that sense, I have preached to a lot of people. I also worked with an institution called the Gospel Coalition for 2 years as a translator.
Ooh,
And yeah, that was also very good, and just using something that was given to me in a way that would benefit.
oh, lovely. Okay, Amanda.
Yes, I have a comment. I loved learning English because of the culture. I think it gives us a whole new perspective, because we learn about how Americans act differently than us and they're colder, they're not like so warm and friendly. So that was like really good to know with the language, because when we learn about the language, we learn about expressions they use, and that help us get to know, Americans and all other countries that speak English. And the question is, what language do you think in? Do you think in Portuguese?
I think mostly in English.
Hmm.
Most of the time, I think in English. Like my inner dialogue with myself is in English. And I talk to myself very much.
Yeah, I hear you. Yeah, me too. I do that a lot, when I need to organize my thoughts and I'm just thinking in English and I'm like, wait, I also know Portuguese.
Yeah. There are specific things that my parents tried to protect my Portuguese as much as they could when I was living in the United States. And so there are things, for example, they never let me read the Bible in English because I was very compulsive in reading. And I had, a school library, public libraries. So my offer in terms of books were all in English, and I read in English all the time. And so the only book that they could control my reading basically was the Bible. So I was only allowed to read the Bible in Portuguese. So to this day, I can still quote Bible verses better in Portuguese than in English. But if I pray in English. Like when I'm thinking, I'll think in English.
Mhm. Very
Mm,
good.
interesting.
Nice.
My personal experience is being, I feel my brain is divided. You know, when I speak in Portuguese, I have difficulty to translate from one language to another one. When I'm
Hmm.
speaking English, I'm very much focusing English, thinking English, planning, writing, listening. You know what I mean? And then when I turn it to Portuguese, and then I do everything in Portuguese. Of course, I've learned English in a different age.
Hmm.
I was a little bit older, but it's the same when I drive here in the opposite sides than America,
So
than in
confusing.
Brazil. The traffic also is opposite. So I drive
So,
here all year long, and then I go to Brazil, I get the car, I drive straight away. It's quite interesting, this experience. So I have a question here from Vinicius. After English, which language do you think is the most important to learn when it comes to business?
Mandarin,
Yeah.
100%. Mandarin. Yeah, they're coming for us.
Watch out, everyone.
Yeah.
Understand.
As an English
Very
teacher, I'm
good.
clinging to my job.
uh, another one here from Milena. Which language do you talk with your daughter?
I only speak to my daughter in English. Um, this has always been the case ever since she was in my womb. I have never, ever spoken to her in Portuguese in my life, except one occasion. I was getting my visa renewed for the United States, and I spoke to her in Portuguese so that the visa officer didn't think I was like planning to flee to the United States. And she looked at me very confused, like, what are you doing?
We've
Yeah.
never done
So,
this before, Mom.
yeah, she was like, what? So, yes, I only speak to her in English. She only speaks to me in English.
She doesn't speak Portuguese.
She does. She started learning this year. The plan was never for her to only speak English, but what happened was that coronavirus happened, and
Mhm.
we were pretty much locked inside the house for a year. And it was the year specifically when she was having this linguistic boom. And I only speak in English inside the house because also my husband needs to learn English. And this is one way I can contribute to him. So both of us would speak English to each other, and both of us would speak English to her. So she spent
Okay.
basically a year only having English. And then we decided, as soon as it's viable, we need to put her in contact with Brazilians because she can't speak any of it. And so now she goes to school. She spends 4 hours at school. And so she's getting there with her
Yeah.
Portuguese.
Yeah. Wow. Very good. Amanda, anything else you wanted to ask or comment
That's pretty much
more?
it. Yeah.
Okay, Amanda. Thank you very much for come up here.
Thank
Um,
you.
Suzanne. Maybe sometime we should bring your husband here. That he speaks English to
He
tell us the
does.
other side of the story. How you met him?
I met my husband in a trip to Salvador in 2012. It's been almost 10 years.
In Aquipe.
No, actually, I never went to Aquipe. I just went to
No?
Salvador and we
Oh,
met on the
Salvador.
beach, basically.
But he's from Salvador. No.
No, he's from Rio.
Ah, from
Like, I was
Rio.
from Vitória, he was from Rio, we met in Bahia. It was a national love story.
Mm. So then you fell in love, he fell in love, so that
Not really. Um,
he's been
well,
a good husband to you.
oh, he is an angel,
Yeah, he
almost.
did. Yeah,
He has a hard job.
yeah. Do you speak Mandarin?
I do not. All I
No,
can say is ni
difficult.
hao.
It's a difficult language, isn't it? My
It
wife
is
is
a
after
very
here,
difficult.
and yeah,
It's a
quite
very
difficult.
difficult language. And if I were to dedicate myself to learn a difficult language, it would be Turkish
Wow.
or Hungarian.
Yeah. So, Suzanne,
Mhm.
I would love to carry on this conversation, but of course, we have a limited time. This will not be your. This is your first, but will not be your last time with us. We're
Count
going to
on me.
prepare in the future for you to come back, maybe with Pedro, or bring your daughter just for us to know, people know
She
her.
is
You know what I mean?
incredible.
Some, yeah. But before we finish this conversation, it would be good for you. Just I want to give you some time for you just to share whatever you wanted to share with the people who are connected with us now, and also people who will be watching you later on in our YouTube channel. If you want to just to leave a message, whatever you have in your heart to share, feel free, please.
Oh, that's a tough one. Um, well, like I said earlier, I think that having a perspective on purpose makes life worth living. And I think that all lives can find that. Everybody has a purpose, everybody has a calling, everyone has a function to play out. And I think that when we find that, our lives become more meaningful. And so, if
Mm,
I could encourage everyone to do so, that's what I would do.
yeah. Oh, lovely. Suzana, thank you very much for being
Thank
with
you.
us. It was a pleasure, especially for myself, because I've been following you since you were 1 year old. So
Yeah.
it's been amazing to see how um, you're growing, your experience with the Lord, having your own family. Thank you very much for being with us.
Yay.
Also, everybody, thank you guys for being connected with us as well. We'll be back here next Wednesday at the same time. And next Wednesday, I'm going to have a very good friend of mine. He's from São Paulo. He works for the American Airlines, and also he's a pastor. He's been working for American Airlines for 25 years, I think. And he's a pastor, nice guy. I had the privilege to help him to get married with a lovely lady. So they got two daughters. So Carlos Roberto, he will be with us next Wednesday. So I hope you can connect with us, follow our channels, and subscribe there in YouTube and spread the news. Suzanne, you need to help also to spread the news for everybody you know. Just say, hey guys, there is an English channel, podcast, Coffee with Your Friends, and the guys can connect with us, because one of the purpose is not the main purpose of this podcast, but one of them is also helping people to improve their English, giving them opportunity to interact with us. Okay, thank you very
All
much.
right.
Bye
Thank you for
guys.
having
God
me.
bless
Bye,
you.
guys.
Bye.